Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupana Gugoriya Guruvarga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Are we on Radha Ramana, the other one? Because it's showing up really bad here.
I don't know what that phone is on. Can you let us know if it's a decent signal or not? We might have two different signals going.
Yeah, if the picture is clear, can you just let us know? Dear lovely Vaishnavas, Radhe Radhe. Because before we begin, we'd like to have it sort of established. Poor connection.
Poor connection.
This might not be on Radha Ramana.
I can check.
Okay, 1 minute. We're going to see if we can deal with it.
Better?
Let me see. Broadcast interrupted. And there we go. It keeps pausing too.
But now it should be okay.
Okay, is that better? It actually doesn't look much better.
I did put it on Wi-Fi.
It might take a second.
Okay.
Alright, we'll do the Mangalacharna.
Just so you know, these aren't balls. They are flowers. And we'll give you a close-up later. They're known as Kadamba flowers. In case you've heard of them while reading or hearing from any Vaishnava, they play a beautiful part in so many leelas of Radha and Krishna and the gopis. So,
I think it's adjusted now. Is it adjusted? Still blurry between parts. Alright, let us know if it adjusts, and then after the Mangalacharna, we'll do our best to apologize. It's improving slowly.
okay. So, we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Bandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakamalam.
It's better now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, beautiful devotees.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagano Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sanjeevam Sarvetam Samadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshta Om Adhyanatimiraandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Visnupada Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayani Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Naldarya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirisham Namami Tridandiram Bhakta Shiromani Narayanam tvam satatam prapatye. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Nityanamine Adhimarya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline Jivanukhe Sadartaya Shri Rama Premadayine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Vaishnava Devi Dayitaya Kripabhale Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Brahmave Namaha. Madhurya Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanugam Nirudhapo Siddhanto Dvantaharine. Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sampodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugambharayate. Gaura Virbhava Bhume Svam Nirdeshtha Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhoma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha. Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jayatam Surato Pando Mama Mandam Matirgati Matsaramasvapadam Dojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyagrindaranya Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Srila Govindadeva Preshkanidhi Sevyamanu Smarami Shri Mandra Sarasarandhi Vanshivata Tatastitaha Karshande Nusanai Gopi Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devai प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चैतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहाकावाग्निर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणम् विद्यामधुजीवनम् आनन्दमृतिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मास्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलम् खलु नस्त्येव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरु चरण पद्म
Page 28. Shri Guru Charana Padma, page 28. And if you don't have a songbook, if you look for the name Jiva Pavana, you'll find that he adds the bhajans and kirtans to all of the kirtans that we're doing. So please search for him so that you can join us in sweet kirtan. And thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for always doing this sweet seva for the Vaishnavas. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Gati Sadama Krishna Prabhu Ho Jai
Jai
Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Pan Guruvarga ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. Kabhi Shri Chaitanya Maharaj. Page 75, Kabe Shri Chaitanya More, Korivena Doya. Kabe Shri Chaitanya More, Korivena Doya. Sorry for laughing during that bhajan. We just had a couple little mistakes that we've made. Really, we shouldn't be laughing during this bhajan, so forgive us. Dhanamor Nityananda, Patimor Gaurachandra, Pranamor Jugala Kishore, page 91. A lot of the bhajans have similarities in their wording. So many bhajans have the words Kandiya Kandiya in it. And if you have your eyes closed in your meditation, it can be possible that you might sing the wrong one off, means the wrong line or something like that. So
that's not, I just woke up.
She had taken a nap and she just woke up. But I'm actually, it happened to me yesterday also. I had my eyes closed and I was singing, and then I opened my eyes and I looked and I was like, oh, I did the wrong words. And so then I had to catch myself and continue or start that line over again. So these things can happen sometimes.
Please forgive me.
Do you have that one? Do you have access to that one? Dhanamor Nityananda Patimor Gaurachandra? Shri.
Just wait to find out if they're happy. It's not coming up
I'll sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya and we'll see if you found it or not. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna
Hana, D-H-A-N-A.
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Devadideva Gaurachandra, Gauridasa Mandire, page 85, starting with Devadi, D-E-V-A-D-I.
Devadi Deva, page 85.
Devadideva Gaurachandra Gauridasa Mandire Devadideva Gaurachandra Gauridasa Nityananda Sange Gaura Ambika Devi Hare Nityananda Sange Gaura Ambika Devi Devadideva Gaurachandra Gauridasa Shrita Kamala Kuchumandala Grita Kundala Kalita Lalita Banamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Page 352. Would you like to read it? Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopal Nanda Dulal Yashoda Dulal Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Gopal Nanda Dulal Jai Yashoda Dulal Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Charane pranatavayam iti bhavanote Charane Guru kushalam pranateshu Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Shri Jaya Deva Kavedam Gurudeva Mangalam Jalagitam Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jai Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopal Nanda Dulal Yashoda Dulal Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Balitam Pankajamiba Mridu Maruta Chalitam, page 342.
Kalayati Nayanam.
Starting with K-A-L-A-Y-A-T-I. Kalayati.
What page?
342. यशोधारनंदन श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimidandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam, in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So before I begin today, well, this is beginning, but one devotee in France, C.K. Mai, she wrote recently that her father passed away. And so I would just like to say a prayer for her departed father, praying for him. Well, actually, he's so fortunate because he has a devotee and another devotee, a granddaughter also in his downline. But just praying for him that may his awakening of bhakti take a very rapid form and that he may progress beautifully on the path of devotion to the Lord. And also right now, I don't know if any of you know, but it seems that the entire west coast of the United States is on fire. And there's a lot of devotees there also. My brother is there in Eugene, Oregon, and my sister, and many devotees, and also so many in Los Angeles and in the Bay Area, also in San Francisco. My brother is there with his belongings in his vehicle, ready to evacuate if there's any immediate need. Everyone in that surrounding area is also evacuating. People that he works with have lost their homes, and other friends' homes are also at risk. So there's not much anyone can do when Agni Dev is hungry, but still we can pray for their benefit, that may everyone be okay. In this connection, when I was little, now I keep referring to when I was little because Sudevi and me and my brother and so many of us, we were born and raised in families of devotees of Krishna. And so certain ideas were presented to us that, well, devotees are protected. So when there's a big, massive earthquake, California is going to fall in the ocean. He's going to crack at the San Andreas Fault and fall into the ocean. But the devotees will be okay. No harm will come to the devotees because we're devotees. And so we were trying to calculate exactly how that would happen. And for a child, how did we envision it? Like the entire California falls in the ocean, but there's just that one street where the temple is, and the temple itself and the apartments where the devotees live, that was all going to still be standing like a massive stilt coming out of the ocean. And we would be okay. And so sometimes devotees have this idea that because I chant Hare Krishna and because I believe in Krishna, that we're protected. There is nowhere in any Shastra that says that the material body is protected. We see it again and again, that devotees, people who are chanting Hare Krishna, who chant their japa, who go to the morning program, who worship the deities and read Shastra, they're also leaving their bodies. So what does it mean that they're protected? Because this idea, oh, we're protected so we don't need to worry about or concern ourselves with anything, like if I jump off a cliff, well, Krishna will catch me because I'm as advanced as Prahlad Maharaj. No, we're not of that nature, and Prahlad didn't throw himself off a cliff either, because no devotee wants to engage Krishna in their service. Oh Krishna, I'm going to tempt you to protect me. And we might not be on that level where he physically protects us. It's not that Haridas Thakur was not beaten very, very terribly. But what was his mood inside? You can cut my body into thousands of pieces, but I can never give up the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So what does it mean to be protected? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even a little bit of progress on this path can save one from the greatest danger. It doesn't mean that you won't have to take birth again, but it will mean that you don't have to enter into the depth of samsara. We may have to take birth again, but that birth will be a progressive birth if we're actually making a progressive endeavor in this life. But we should also understand that this human form of life is extremely valuable and extremely rare. Labdva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante. After so long, cycling through 8,400,000 species of life, we finally come to the human form of life. And now we have a choice and a chance to utilize this human form of life for its greatest benefit, for its greatest gift. And that is to choose to utilize it in bhajan, to serve Krishna. Because only from the human form can one actually endeavor for perfection. You cannot do it from a demigod form. You cannot do it from any lesser or lower form, means animal form. Only from the human form, because it gives us a certain amount of balance. Hopefully. These days, most people are quite unbalanced, but environmental things and food and everything else and whatever waves, everything is unbalancing us, but still it gives us some kind of teeter-tottering where we're able to understand that it's not my place of enjoyment because so much suffering comes, and it shouldn't be to such a state of suffering where I'm only stuck in the role of survival like an animal. According to Shastra, because animals are only stuck in the survival mode, then they also cannot contemplate what is favorable for the nature of the soul. And because the demigods are enjoying too much due to their high birth, janma, due to their excessive wealth, aishwarya, due to their great education, shruta, and due to their immense bodily beauty. These four things become a disqualification for them. So it is said in Bhagavatam and other scriptures that they are waiting to take birth at this time in Kali Yuga to take advantage of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give. They need to accept a human form. So the human form of life is not something that should be played with, risked unnecessarily. So we know there's fire coming from all around. We should be prepared to move out. If you've been given that information, the fire is coming, so you have a choice. Okay, well, Krishna will protect this body, so I don't need to do anything. And then the fire comes through and wipes everything out in its path. It's not about protecting the body. When he says even a little bit of progress can save one from the greatest danger, that danger is not necessarily protection of the body. Krishna has no attachment to our material body whatsoever. We have attachment to our material bodies, and that's why we make that sentimental adjustment. I'm using the word sentimental adjustment. We're projecting that my body is important, so we will be protected. Means the material body. What needs to be protected is the progression of the soul in its path of devotion to the Lord. So, this idea that we will be protected, we should not be in illusion about that. That this body is going to be protected. Look on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. How many millions of those warriors on the Kauravas' side were actually Krishna's own personal armies. They were his own devotees. But because of Kshatriya Dharma, they had to fight with the side against the Pandavas. They had to fight on the side of the Kauravas. Because when Krishna opened his eyes, Duryodhana got the first pick, and Duryodhana got the pick of Krishna's armies. And Arjuna simply sat at Krishna's feet, and then Krishna saw him. What do you want? Arjuna only wanted Krishna. Wherever Krishna is, there's always success. But those were Krishna's devotees, and every single one of them lost their lives. Means their material body. But it doesn't mean that their soul did not love Krishna. So I just wanted to mention this in this context, that we should not mistake these two things. The body and our attachment to this body. According to Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul moves from one body to the next, as it moves, when this one body dies, it goes to the next. So, Dhiras Tatra, that person who is sober-minded is not bewildered by this change. From youth to old age to death, again being born, youth to old age, death. If just a sober-minded person, Dhiras Tatra Namuhyati, is not at the least disturbed by such a thing, what to speak of a great personality, what to speak of a pure devotee, what to speak of Bhagavan himself. This is not his concern. When we cry over our bodies, it's like crying over what color candy we get. You know, when a kid, you have a blue one and a green one, or a blue one and a red one, and he wants the red one, but his brother got the red one. And then he screams and hates you and thinks you're the meanest person in the world, and it's just the coloring. It's the same, it's just candy. Not even a different flavor, just the coloring. But he's screaming and kicking and throwing a tantrum. This is what we do regarding our bodies. But from those higher perspectives, that's what it is. I wanted the green one. No, I wanted the red one. No, the blue one. We fight over these things. But what is important? What is the reality? The reality is that this body is temporary, and we have moved through millions and trillions since time without beginning. Since time without beginning, we have been bound in this material creation, cycling from one to the next, to the next, to the next, going around in this samsara. And each time we also accept the conditioning that this is me, I am this. And we put so much importance on it, and then it's finished. And then we get the next one, and this is me, and I am this. And then it's finished, and again, and again, and again, and again, forever. But from those of a higher perspective, this is not the important thing. The important thing is only what is the nature of your soul. That is called Sanatan Dharma, the eternal function of your soul, or Jaiva Dharma. What is its nature in relationship with Krishna, and how to awaken that, by which one will find eternal happiness or everlasting peace. This is the real concern. We get very bent out of shape about so many material things, including the karmas of this world, especially when it comes to ourselves. We can look at other people and go, oh my God, why are they worrying about that? I'm above that. And then when it hits us, we start turning colors, all sorts of emotions rise. We didn't even realize we had inside of us anger, frustration, depression, greed, hate, envy, pride, madness, and all things start manifesting when it comes to us. So in this material world, all of these things actually don't have anything to do with the transcendental or absolute reality. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't use our God-given intelligence. And that's why I mentioned both of these things. Although it is temporary, still, this human form is so valuable. Because only from the human form can we endeavor for perfection. So we should try to be careful with it. Treat it like it is very, very valuable. It is the property of Gurudev, the property of Krishna. So we should treat it as such and not subject it unnecessarily to risks, like sitting still while the news is telling us, and you can see it on the satellite map, that the fire is coming. So then you prepare. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. He said, if you know there's a tiger right there, don't walk in front of it. Don't confront it. That's not intelligent. That's stupidity. We shouldn't try to engage or pretend that we're on the level where Krishna will come in and save our material body. We should use some God-given intelligence to discriminate regarding what is favorable and what is unfavorable for devotion. And in the same way, as we've been speaking about what is favorable and unfavorable, we were talking about Mayavad Katha, the different conceptions, material impressions, those things which are being fed toward us, and there's a lot of intention to feed it to us, to advertise to us, to promote this and that and everything else. This can also be detrimental. It can be regressive. Like Krishna says, a little progress can save you from the greatest danger. Well, a little regression can become the most dangerous thing. One time, our Srila Gurudev, I think he was in Los Angeles, and he looked up for 1 second and then averted his eyes. And there was some guy who was posting big posters of his scantily clad wife. And Gurudev looked away and he asked the devotees, what did it say? What did it say? And they said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And he said, one picture is worth 1,000 lifetimes in hell. So there are so many impressions that can actually affect us negatively as spiritual aspirants. That is why it is so essential to always maintain association as much as possible with sadhus. And if we're not physically able to associate with them, then we can associate with like-minded devotees who are encouraging us to associate with sadhus and to take to the path of bhakti. And also, Shastriya Sadhu Sangha, to associate with the Holy Scriptures. At this moment, I'm remembering something that Srila Prabhupada said, because the devotees wanted to publish in the Back to Godhead magazines anti-meat-eating propaganda. So they wanted to post pictures of slaughterhouses and things like that. These kind of impressions. With shock value. They actually wanted to post that. And Prabhupada was completely opposed to the idea. In fact, he said, this will not further our cause. It will only cause people's minds to be engrossed in that subject matter, and it will leave deep impressions, which we've already endured as meat eaters and as that who has been slaughtered millions and millions and trillions of times over. We have done both. We have been both. We have experienced all of that. He said, it does not further our cause.
No, he said also sex.
I know.
Oh.
He said it doesn't further our cause. In the same way that it won't benefit any of us if we are preaching against illicit sex by posting pornographic images. It doesn't help us. He said, rather we should post pictures of our acharyas and quotes of our Guru Varga, quotes from Shastra. This will help our cause. He said, we are neither meat eaters or vegetarian. Rather, we are servants of Krishna. We accept Krishna Prasad. We are not these other things. We're not, because all of it is still bound in karma. So we're leaving that whole karmic binding and going toward the service of Krishna. If you have that quote, I would really appreciate it, if you can find it. Jiva Pavana Prabhu or anyone else. As Srila Prabhupada is talking about, it doesn't further our cause to promote the negative. It actually leaves and increases those negative impressions. It's not that we should be unaware, but really the fact that all of that stuff is out there is symbolic of the nature of this material world. Adi Atmic, Adi Bautic, and Adi Daivic miseries. So what is the remedy? What is the Maha Oshadhi? What is the greatest welfare work, the Para Upakar? To completely obliterate all problems of this entire material creation and also our own problems. What is that remedy? To completely extinguish that blazing forest fire of material existence. I just thought that was a little bit appropriate considering all of the fires. What is the main remedy for all of that? Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyata, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All other things can actually bind us more. They can bind us more, and we will know by how much absorption we have in things other than Krishna. That's called binding in Maya, if it's not to do with Krishna. So all of our gurus, all of our parampara, unless they have given specific instructions to particular individuals to address certain things, most of the instructions which have been given to all of the disciples in our Guru Varga, from our Guru Varga, from our Rupa Anuga Guru Varga, is to always remember Krishna, never forget him, to take shelter of the process of bhakti. Don't absorb yourself too much in the material energy. Absorb yourself in transcendental literatures. Associate with devotees. Atyahara, avoid overconsumption. It doesn't just mean overeating, it means overconsuming, and that can also be information. Mundane literature, all kinds of material things. Atyahara, avoid over-consuming. It's unfavorable for bhakti. Prayasha, over-endeavoring for material achievements. That includes learning and knowing about material things of this world. Over-endeavoring. Prayasha. Prajalpa. Prajalpa means to speak about things other than what is favorable for the development of bhakti, or to share those things, to represent that. So that is also unfavorable to bhakti. Prajalpa means talking nonsense. Nonsense means what is not within the sphere of bringing one's consciousness toward service to Krishna. That is prajalpa. Niyamagraha. Over-adherence or under-adherence to rules and regulations to the point where it actually can become unfavorable for bhakti. So the first rule that I mentioned previously, always remember Krishna. This is the most important thing, and never forget him. That's an automatic side effect of always remembering him. Janasangas, associating with worldly-minded persons. Worldly-minded persons means people who are simply absorbed in material things, material thoughts, material, mundane, day-to-day activities which have nothing to do with developing love and devotion for Krishna. And lolyam. The result of all of these other activities is one will develop greed for material life, for material activities, for material pursuits, for material thought processes, for material association, and all kinds of mundane things. In other words, dhyayate vishaya pungsam. By meditating on all of that, one will fall back down into this bhavasaga. The material pool is a translation of bhavasaga, which literally means the blazing fire of the ocean of oil, as our Gurudev called it. He said it's not any ordinary ocean. It's like an ocean of oil which is on fire, falling back down into that material pool. When one absorbs their minds, ati ahara, over-consuming Krishna. This is how to undo that. Over-consume Krishna. Prayasha, over-endeavor for Krishna. Prajalpa, gossip about Krishna. Niyamagraha is also there. One should be balanced in that. One should do what is favorable for Krishna. Jana sangas. What kind of sangha should we associate with? Not worldly minded, but devotionally minded persons. And lolyam, we must develop transcendental greed. That is the root qualification for Krishna Bhakti. So there it's telling us all the negative, but if you would simply apply all of those to Krishna, they are the recipe for perfection. And if you don't apply them to Krishna, then shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. They are the recipe for destroying one's inclination in bhakti. So this subject is extremely important for all of us as aspiring devotees, and I'm using the word aspiring for myself. I don't know where anyone else's level is, but I consider myself aspiring to aspire, that this is essential for us. I never honestly thought of that verse like that, but by your mercy and your association, I believe I'm being inspired to think of it like that. All of those activities, when applied to Krishna, bring perfection. No, the gopis also speak prajalpa, but it's transcendental prajalpa. It's different. So, thank you for sharing that, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. So I recommend the devotees, when you have an opportunity to read what Jiva Pavana Prabhu just posted, it's very powerful. Now I'm going back. I'm just making sure. Okay. There's so much human tragedy going on in this world right now, which is it's very sad and it's terrible. And the Vaisnavas, it is said, Jiva duke sarataya, or paradukuduki. Their hearts bleed upon seeing the suffering of the jivas of this world. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has told in this connection that because of that nature of being compassionate, the Vaishnavas cannot help themselves because they are paradukaduki. Means they feel so much sadness seeing the suffering of the jivas. But what is that real suffering? The real suffering is being ignorant. Krishna bhuli se jeev anadir bahir mukh. Since time without beginning, they're ignorant and not knowing about Krishna. Therefore, ateva, maya tare, being captured by illusion, maya, they are samsara dukh. They're experiencing suffering in this repetition, this samsara, birth, disease, old age, and death, again and again and again. But because the Vaishnavas' hearts are so soft, they cannot help themselves. They have to try to help. So how do they help? Jiva duke sadartaya Shri Nama Prema Daine. Or this means they give Krishna's name, Shri Nama Prem. And if you can, then you give Prem. But if we can't give Prem, at least we can give the name, and we can point them to someone who can awaken transcendental love in their heart. And the other verse, which we chant every day before entering into this beautiful treasure, is Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatner Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambudir Yapara Dukki Sanatana Swam Pramumashrayami. Kripambudir, they're like an ocean of mercy for those who are suffering. The jivas in this world who are bound are actually suffering so much. And so the Vaishnavas come to give their mercy. And how do they give it? They give it as nectar. Nectar means knowledge of Krishna. Everything to do with Krishna. And this is confirmed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That nectar becomes so tasteful that all of that other stuff is left behind automatically because of the higher taste. And Mahaprabhu says the same thing in the very first verse of Sri Shikshashtakam. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhavamahada bhagni nirvapanam shreyakairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam budivardhanam pratipadam purnamritashvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam. All glories, actually supreme victory, param vijayate means supreme victory, to the holy names of Krishna, Shri Krishna sankirtanam. Purna amrita ashvadanam. It is like taking nectar at every step. Purna amrita, complete nectar. Pratipadam purna amrita ashvadanam. Ashvad means to taste. And purna amrita means complete nectar. And pratipada means at every step. So why am I not experiencing that? Why am I more attracted toward the material energy and absorbing in everything of the material energy? And we can pray to our Gurudev. We can pray to our Acharyas. We can pray to Bhaktivedanta Thakur. What did he say? Kabe habe bolo seidina amar. When will that day come? When? Aparada guchi. When my aparads, when my offenses and anarthas are removed, and I will develop taste for the pure holy name. Shudhaname ruchi. Kripa bole habe hridaye sanchar. When will this day manifest? When will my heart experience this? So we can pray to them. Because our nature, we've been so bound in this material world for so long, we tend to go toward it. Our momentum is within samsara. We've developed so much taste and momentum for that we feel this is where I belong. And our Guru Varga have come to tell us, no, this is not really where you belong. You're in a madhouse, but really you don't belong here. You belong free. And what is freedom? Freedom means to align with my nature, and my nature is to love and serve Krishna. This is real freedom. Everything else is still binding within samsara. So we can pray to our Guru Varga when all of these things are attacking us: lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, pride, thirst for this material world, and all of the things and thoughts of this material world. When all of this is attacking us, we don't have strength on our own to fight it off. Then we require help from beyond ourselves that is much more powerful than ourselves and more powerful than Maya. And that is the help of the pure devotees of the Lord, the help of our Guru Varga, the help of our Gurudeva, the help of Srila Prabhupada. If we are sincere, if we are crying with a heart of sincerity, they will hear our prayer and they will help us. I remember reading a lecture of our Gurudev like this. They will hear and they will help. And he said, I pray to Rupa Goswami, and he responds. We can pray and cry to Gurudev, cry to Prabhupada, cry to our Guru Varga, cry to our Goswamis. I'm so weak. I have so much thirst for the material things, but no thirst, no taste even for Krishna. Please help me. I'm so weak. On my own, I have no strength. I can't even chant Harinam. Means I won't, even if I pick up my mala, even if I'm going through the motions, even if the sound's coming out, but my heart is not melting. It's like a stone. Please be merciful to me. Help me. Please give me, what is it? the wealth of Krishna Nam. Dhana. Please give me the wealth of Krishna Nam. That means taste. If genuine taste comes, then we will put everything else down and run in that direction, or chant in that direction. Yes, thank you for bringing that up again, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Our momentum is in samsara. I've thought about that a lot. This word momentum, it actually is a word that is utilized in physics, in mathematics. And momentum is something, and the example that I was told when I was in school was a large ship which is sailing on the ocean. Before they had the ability to reverse the engines to slow them down, they would have to turn their engines off like 20 miles offshore because it is so massive. It has this force that's been moving across the ocean. Even if they turn the engines off, still it will keep going forward with so much force. And in the past, if they did not turn them off in time, they would end up hitting the docks and smashing the docks because of the forward momentum. We've developed so much momentum toward the material energy and toward Maya. That's what we have developed momentum toward. So it becomes difficult for us to suddenly stop that and go the other way toward Krishna. We've only known what it's like to try to serve our senses, and now our Gurudev and Guru Varga come and say, no, this is not what's going to make you happy. This won't satisfy you. You will keep suffering if you continue on that momentum. Now you should change that and try to serve the transcendental senses of Krishna. And so we're kind of, okay, let's do that. And then we're getting sucked back into our previous momentum. That's why we have to hold on tightly to their lotus feet. When the water is pulling you that way, you know what happens with tsunami, right? You got to hold on to something. If the water is trying to pull you away, you have to hold on for your dear life. So we see that with all of our Vaishnavas, the way they are praying to their Guru, the way they are praying to other Vaishnavas, the way they are praying to Nityananda Prabhu. What is the last verse of that Nitai Patakamala? I'm holding on to your lotus feet, which are like, what is it? Nitai Pada Sadakaro Ash. No, I can't remember at this moment, but he's holding on. I'm holding on to your lotus feet and I won't let go. It's more of a desperation that I am completely dependent on you, and if I let go, then I will be lost in oblivion forever. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has explained that whatever treasure we have already received, we should be very, very careful with it. How do we become careful with it? He said we must be in sadhu sangha at every moment. So if we cannot be physically in sadhu sangha, then following their instructions or taking shelter of shastra, sadhu sangha in the form of shastra. Otherwise, whatever we have already received very easily can be lost. And to reacquire some valuable treasure, once you've lost it, is extremely difficult. So, thank you for sharing that. Now I would like to continue going beyond Vaikuntha with all of you. So yesterday, we heard from Chitraketu Maharaj, his prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam, how, excuse me, I'm just going to take a little water. He's saying, I don't desire material position. I don't desire a place in Dhruvalok or Brahmalok or any kind of mystic perfection of yoga, nor liberation. I don't even desire liberation from the cycle of repeated birth and death, if it means being separated from you. And that means separated from serving you. So he was praying like this. Lord Narasimhadev offered liberation to Prahlad Maharaj, but Prahlad didn't want anything from him. He only wanted to be associating with his devotees. He actually said to Lord Narasimhadev, please allow me to always remain in the association of Narada Muni, so that I may always hear your glories. So if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam again and again and again and again, 90% of the time, whenever the Lord is offering any benediction to any of his devotees, the bhaktas are always asking for the association of his pure devotees. Why? Because the Lord himself says that Mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tishtami Narada. O Narada, where do I reside? Where my devotees are always glorifying my name's forms, qualities, and pastimes, I'm there. So the devotees always want to be where his glories are, his name, form, qualities, and pastimes are manifesting. And Rupa Goswami confirms this in the verse which we call the essence of all advice. Actually, he called it that. Kalam ner akilam ityupadesha sara means the essence of all advice. And in there he says, in the association of Krishna's pure devotees under their guidance, tishtam raje tad anuragi jananugami, what should one do 24 hours a day? Tannama rupa charitari sukirtananu, to remember Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, and do kirtan of that, sukirtan, with deep absorption. So this is confirmed again by Srila Rupa Goswami. So yesterday then we heard that as Ram could not personally satisfy all of the desires of all of those princesses of Janakpur, because he had already made a vow that I will accept only one wife, that was Sita. But all of the other princesses immediately developed crushes on Sri Ram, as we told yesterday. They were completely smitten, so he told them, you take birth from the wombs of gopis, and when I come as Krishna, then I will satisfy all of your desires. Also, these sages in Dandakaranya forest, their souls were not the souls of old men. Their souls were meant to love Krishna like gopis. So Ram told them also, you do austerities and you come back in the wombs of gopis, and I will satisfy all of your desires as Krishna. So their identity as gopis had not yet developed. So they had to first reside in the drudge of this world for some time. And for those who are coming in this path, that is the last birth that anyone will take in Vrindavan while Krishna is performing his pastimes. And once again, this is confirmed, written by Srila Prabhupada in his purports. Generally, we hear a more general idea that chant your rounds, take prasad, read a verse a day, and Maya will stay away, and then you'll go back to God at the end of this lifetime. It's kind of a general thing. But then they give much more specific information as well. And that specific information is, if you're aspiring to enter into Krishna's pastimes, then the last birth you will take will be from the womb of a gopi in Vrindavan, wherever Krishna is performing his pastimes on any earth planet, Bhoma Vrindavan. So you will take birth from their womb, and then from there you will be naturalized into Krishna's pastimes by birth. And from that you will continue wherever Krishna performs his pastimes. So it's very spontaneous and natural process. Now Gurudeva is saying, when a man takes a law course and passes the magistrate exams, will he then immediately become a judge? He will first have to undergo practical training by staying with an established judge for some time, and then he can become a judge himself. As I was reading that, I heard something pretty amazing yesterday. And I've known about other things for a long time, that we will have to be tested in so many ways. It's not that one automatically suddenly has the qualification to enter into the Nikunjas of Vrindavan and serve Radha and Krishna. Qualification must be there. So training is there, and it begins now under the guidance of Sri Guru. Gradual training is given, and then more training, and also tests. What is your conviction? What is your faith? What will break your faith? Will apsara break your faith? Vishwamitra was sitting there doing intense austerities, and just by hearing the ankle bells of Menaka, he became disturbed and gave up all of his austerities and went to enjoy with her. Sobara Rishi also, just seeing fish in the act of mating, this inflamed his desires, and he went and married the 50 princesses of the nearest king and enjoyed with them for thousands of years. So this broke their conviction. Will we be able to tolerate that? That person that you think is the most attractive in this world, that your heart goes boom, boom when you see them or a picture of them. Will you be able to withstand when they offer themselves to you? Or how about 1,000 times more amazing than that? Most of us might not be able to handle that. What about the treasures of the devas being given to us? Power, position, prestige, the love and affection and adoration of thousands. Will this get to our head? What about becoming a demigod? How about our own bodily beauty? How about our education? How about our birth? How about our wealth? Well, how about the mystic siddhis? Will we be able to handle that? What about this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtuma. You can do whatever you like with me, my Lord. If you want, you can reject me, you can embrace me, you can embrace another in front of me, you can do whatever you like. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Maro Birako, if you want, you can kill me. This won't change the nature of my love for you. This is prem. Will we be able to handle that? Means end this material body. Will we be able to handle that? So I was leading up to something. Manimati Didi had a conversation with Srila Gurudev regarding Haridas Thakur. And she said, will we have to be tested like that? And he said, yes. We will have to be able to take shelter of the holy name without giving it up in any situation, no matter what. Like he said, you can cut my body into thousands of pieces, but I will never give up the holy name of the Lord. We will have to be able to put our money where our mouth is. Is that what it said? Yeah, that's what it said. We'll have to be able to bear or go over all kinds of obstacles. And on our own, we cannot do that. But by the mercy of Sri Guru, by the mercy of the pure devotee, we will be able to do that. By the mercy of Sri Guru, Mukam Karoti Vachalam, someone who is dumb, who has no tongue, will be able to speak beautiful poetry. Pangam Langayate Girim, that person who has no legs will be able to cross over mountains. Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Gurum Dinataranam. By the mercy of Sri Guru, by that association, we will develop that qualification to be able to handle everything. How many times did Srila Prabhupada tell us in his books and in his lectures that all of our activities are a training so that at the time of death we can remember Krishna. When our voices, when our throats are being choked with mucus, when we cannot, when so many problems are coming, will we still be able to keep focused on Krishna, no matter what? Like our Srila Gurudev, when he went to the hospital for heart surgery in 1989. At that time, the doctors gave him an injection to put him under so that they can do their surgery. At that time, it was open heart surgery. They gave him an injection. And he was chanting Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And they were like, he's still chanting. So they gave him another one. Still, Ram, Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Anyway, they gave him enough, so to speak, to knock out a bear. And still he continued chanting, so they went ahead with that surgery. They did the surgery, finished everything up, and afterward those doctors all fell at his feet and became his disciples because they witnessed that this person was no matter what was going on, Harinam was still coming from him. It was automatic and spontaneous. And I've heard a similar glorification of Srila Gurudev Maharaj. Right, Sudevi? You mentioned something to me the other day about him? Like that? Sudevi?
What?
Srila Gurudev Maharaj. That he also, when he was in a state of physical unconsciousness, he continued chanting the holy names.
Yes.
Yes. So I've also heard that, and that Sudevi just confirmed it. Oh, and Raghava can also confirm that. You've heard that, Raghava Prabhu, about Srila Gurudev Maharaj? How when he was also...
It's in his, When Good Fortune Arises.
Okay, it's in that book, When Good Fortune Arises. So it is confirmed. So I just wanted to share that conception that we will have to be able to cross over all hurdles. It's not a cheap thing to enter into the Nikunjas of Vrindavan and serve Radha and Krishna there. This is the highest, most coveted, most valuable treasure of a destination. And so when you want that highest, greatest treasure, it also has the highest, greatest price. But if genuine greed, if genuine desire is there for that, then we will do whatever we can to purchase it by any means possible. Right? Tatralolyam apimulyam ekalam. If one can get it anywhere, they must purchase it without delay. So we will have to do that intense training. Srila Gurudev explained that when one has sambandha or relationship with Harinam Prabhu, and that means first developing relationship with Gurudev, then they can become a beggar, they can cry for Krishna, and they will be able to do anything for Krishna. When one develops that relationship, and that relationship is awakened by the mercy of Guru. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Guru makes Krishna appear in the heart. Guru gives us qualification, like mother and father, Guru and Gayatri. They give us that qualification by which we will be able to serve Krishna. So I know I told something similar the other day, but I'm going to tell this one because I've heard it directly from Gurudev's mouth when we were in San Francisco. He said, Guru is like an expert mother. He said, when the time comes for an Indian tradition, girls were married by arrangement. So he said when the time was coming for her daughter to be married, this mother, she discovered the most perfect, excellent, charming, beautiful, handsome, heroic, and awesome young man. And she would go to his house and visit with his family and also see his activities, his nature and everything. How he would speak, how he was expert in all musical instruments, how when he would play sports and he would win, how he was beloved by all, how his voice was deep like thunder, and how he would melt everyone's hearts, how he could sing, all of his amazing qualities and characteristics. And then when she would come home later on in the evening and they would be taking dinner, she would be telling her friends and others, oh, I met I saw this young man and his nature is like that. And she would speak about him in front of her friends and her daughter would just overhear. But as her mother was speaking about this boy, she was beginning to meditate on all of these things about him. How beautiful, how tall, dark, and handsome, how expert, how musically talented, and how when he sings, everyone's hearts just melt. All of these characteristics, all of these qualities, everything about his beauty, how his eyes are like lotus petals. Everything she was talking about, and the daughter's heart was becoming more and more attracted. And then one day when she saw that her daughter seemed very keen and very interested, then she left a picture of this boy on the chair. And she told her daughter, you should clean up after all of us. So the daughter is cleaning the table, taking care of everything. Everyone had left. And as she's cleaning, she sees this picture of this boy on the chair. She thinks, this this must be the one my mother is speaking about, but he's even so much more charming and attractive. This must be who she was speaking of. So Gurudev said she hides that picture, runs into her room, closes the door and puts it next to her bed, and she just dreams about the day when they will meet, when she can give her heart to him, when he will give his heart to her, and when they can fulfill all of their desires. She's just dreaming about this. And Gurudev said, so Guru is like this. We have never met Krishna. We don't know Krishna. And yet Guru comes and tells so many beautiful beautiful pastimes about Krishna's names, forms, qualities, all of his activities and his pastimes. So gradually our hearts become more and more attracted, that we would think, I will only give my heart to him. My heart is his. It will never go anywhere else. And day and night we become obsessed. And then Gurudev said, and when the time is right, that mother will make the arrangement for their marriage, and then all of their desires can be fulfilled. So Guru does this for us. Guru awakens this desire, and then Guru gives that qualification, and then Guru makes that connection. So we are hopelessly indebted to Sri Guru for all of these things. So Gurudev is saying that you don't immediately become a judge. First, you'll have to undergo practical training by staying with an established judge for some time. This is an apprenticeship. And then one can become a judge himself. Similarly, going to Braj of this world, one will first have to go, I didn't even see this word, will first have to undergo an apprenticeship, meaning that he must learn from someone personally. For example, if a newly married girl goes to the house of her mother-in-law and hasn't yet learned how to cook, clean pots, and serve food, then every day she will have to take abuse. Because in traditional Indian culture, the girl goes to the home of her husband, who's still looking after his mother. So the mother-in-law is there, the family is there, and this girl marries into that family and lives with them. So she has no qualification, no knowledge of how to cook or how to clean or how to take care of anything, and has no inclination to do such a thing. She will be actually causing a disturbance, and as a result will receive so much abuse from that family. So her family trains her and teaches her well how to be in the world where she will be as peaceful as possible. But the members of the household will teach her everything. So even if she learns in her own home, still she will have to continue learning there, because there's the specific preferences of that family and the specific preferences of her husband. The mother-in-law will say, "My daughter, today my health is not so good. You do the cooking. Also, scrub the pots and sweep a little. I must rest. So you make some rotis like this." Through such cleverness, they will give her all practical instruction. In the same way, where will one receive this practical instruction to serve as a gopi? In the manifest pastimes of Bhagavan in Golok Braj, not at any other place. So one will only learn how to serve as a gopi by being under the guidance of another gopi. That's what Gurudev is saying here. In the manifest pastimes of Bhagavan in Gokul Braj. So when he's manifesting his pastimes in any earthly planet, when you take birth from the womb of a gopi, you will grow up and be raised under the guidance of the gopis, how to properly serve Radha and Krishna. Also, we should understand that our Gurudevs, Nikunjanyuno Ratikeli Siddhyai, Sridadika Madhava Param Madhurya Lila Gunarupanamna, they're worshipping Sri Radhika Madhava in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan as gopis. Radha Priya Sakhi, Srila Goswamipada Maharaj said, very near and dear, intimate maidservants of Sri Radha. So under their guidance, under their expert guidance, we will gradually learn how to serve like they serve. This is Gopir Anugata. Gopira Anugatya, under the guidance of the gopis, learning how to serve Radha and Krishna like they serve. So in the manifest pastimes of Bhagavan in Gokul Braj, not at any other place, in a practical way, in the company of the eternally perfected devotees. For some time, one will undergo an apprenticeship and learn. If one were sent directly to Golok, then his identity would not yet be fully developed, as we've seen in the case of Gopishwar Mahadev. Before he achieved that title of Gopishwar, he wanted to witness the Rasalila pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. So he prayed to his guru, that time Purnamasi. She manifested in front of him, and she said no other male form can go. Only Krishna. So you will have to have a female form. So near Rangaji Mandir, close to Govindaji Mandir, just over there, she dipped him in Brahmakund. And there he came out with a very beautiful female form, gopi form, and then went and hid in the bushes nearby the Rasalila to watch the Rasalila pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But they were feeling something is not right. Somebody's mood is not right here. And the gopis began searching everywhere. Something doesn't feel right. We don't feel the usual elation that we normally feel. There must be some influence which is not favorable. So they began searching and they found this new gopi. And I'm not going to go into details of how they treated this gopi, but they were asking, who are you? What's your name? Who's your father? Who's your mother? What village do you come from? Who's your husband? Who's your mother-in-law? All of these questions. And because inside she's thinking, I am Shiva, she could not answer any of these questions. And they were like, what's wrong? How come you can't speak? So she did not have the qualification for that. Although she had a form which appeared similar, still the qualification was not there. So she did not have the qualification to, one, enter into those pastimes, or two, even to be there present in that vicinity. So then when it was revealed that she was actually Lord Shiva, then Lord Shiva, in the form of this Gopishwar Mahadev, was given the position of being the guardian of the Rasamandal. The guardian, that no unauthorized person should enter. So we pray to Gopishwar. Gopishwara Vrajavilasi Nangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Namo Namaste. O Gopishwar Mahadev, you have the potency, the ability to awaken prema for the lotus feet of the divine youthful couple who are always engaged in playing in their transcendental pastimes. Please be merciful unto me, O Gopishwar. So if one were sent directly to Golok, then his identity would not yet be fully developed. Therefore, it is necessary to first take birth in the manifest Braja, in any Bhoma Vrindavan, earthly Vrindavan, and regardless of whether one will be in Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, he must learn his duties there. So in whatever ras we will end up in, finally, we still must take birth on any earthly planet where Krishna is performing his pastimes from the womb of a gopi and be raised in how to serve properly in those pastimes. That will be our final birth. But it's already way beyond liberation and also beyond Vaikuntha. So we will have to go through so many stages of development. I'm looking at the time here. Okay. We've only got a little bit of time before the end of this chapter. Believe it or not, we're already on page 123. We'll see by the time the lockdown ends, means when flights start moving again, maybe we'll be finished. So Gurudev was very specific here, that it's not like an instantaneous transference, but there needs to be proper training, qualification needs to be developed so that we can actually enter into those pastimes. they won't allow us to enter into those pastimes without appropriate qualification. There are so many. Lord Shiva is there blocking. You're not qualified. Right? Even our gurus, they will see, are you qualified or not? Are you able to pass all of these tests? Do you have any scent of attraction to this material world? Or any of the charms of this material world? Do you have any scent of attachment to your own material body? Or your material subtle bodies? Your ego, your mind, your intelligence? Do you have any attachment to these things? What kind of thing will distract you? You're not qualified to enter yet, then you need more training to develop more attachment to Krishna, so much so that everything else is rendered completely insignificant. Ar kabe nitai chandev koruna hoibe sangsara bhashanamor kabe tuchcha habe. By the mercy of Sri Guru, Nityananda Prabhu, when he gives his mercy, or when will you give your mercy? Gurudev said we should say it like this. O Nityananda Prabhu, O Gurudev, when will you give me your mercy? When that day comes, when that mercy comes, by the effect of that mercy, Sangsara Bhashanamor, the entire ocean of material existence, this repetition of birth and death, or this ocean of oil which is on fire, will be rendered completely insignificant. Kabe tuchcha habe. Vishaya charya kabe shuddha habe man. Our desire for material sense enjoyment will be eradicated and our mind will become pure. Then we will be able to see Sri Vrindavan. Otherwise it is covered with a net of Maya and we only see that Mayak covering. As Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja explained, whether we have open eyes or closed eyes, still we are blind. These material eyes cannot see transcendental Vrindavan. So Vishaya Charya Kabe Shuddha Habiman Kabe Hama He Rabo Sri Vrindavan. Then we will be able to see Sri Vrindavan. And by the mercy of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, Rupan Guru Varga, Rupa Raghunatha Pade, Hoide Akuti, Kabe Hama Bhuja Bose, Jugala Piriti. By their mercy, by their training, then we will be able to, Kabe Hama Bhuja Bose, we will be able to see the divine couple, Shri Radha and Krishna. And by taking shelter of them, by receiving their blessings and their mercy, then we will be able to one day fulfill our heart's desire by serving the heart's desire of Sri Radha and Krishna, by assisting them to always meet happily in Vrindavan forever. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugala Milan. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guru Varga ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
I thought this was going to be a 1-year study, or a 3-year study. I think it's only going to be 1 year.
I'm still on year 2 of Pinnacle of Devotion. I haven't finished that one yet. But that's because it's the pinnacle of devotion, so it takes a little longer to get there.
Truths?
I did finish Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. And Ujjapad Bhaktivedanta Nemi Maharaj did the first 3/4 of Bhakti Rasayan from Kartik time, and then when he left, and I continued that to the end, but that is so beautiful and so Sabse Uchi, so beautiful and high. Okay. It's good that we stop here because now next, Narada Muni is going to the next verse that he's speaking to Gopkumar, so the subject will adjust a little bit.
And I just want to tell everyone that when you have darshan of Thakurji, if you've never seen it before, Shashi Kala Didi sent up beautiful kadamba flowers. Sometimes you hear pastimes where Krishna dresses as a gopi and he puts kadamba flowers in his choli, or sometimes they play catch or they play ball and they play with kadamba flowers. So when you have their darshan, we'll also show you, if you've never seen them before, they're very beautiful, golden and fragrant kadamba flowers, and they're round.
She'll give you a close-up darshan. of these beautiful servants of Thakurji. Bola Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Narayan
Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe,
Sham.
Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
Do they get close up?
I will in the end.
Okay.
Remember, those are kadamba flowers, very fragrant and beautiful, and so many leelas with them.
Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana. Right?
Yes.
Vrinda Vipino Nivasi. So thank you all very much for being with us today, for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and also to thank you for engaging us in our Guru Seva. For that we are indebted. And we look forward to being with you tomorrow and continuing our journey, going beyond Vaikuntha. Dandavat Pranam,
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe.
So these are kadamba flowers. They're very, very soft and fragrant. They look prickly, but they're so soft.
They're quite heavy actually. They're really good. They feel a little interesting.
So that's a kadamba flower. And like I said, they're very, very beautiful and fragrant.
Shri Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.